made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast, episode number 7. Hunter Keister here with
Kurt Mackey.
Let's go, episode 7 made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast. I am your co-host, Hunter Keister, and to start off this segment, as we got a good one for you, I'll run through it real fast. We got the Big Ten tournament, the opening round, and there was some shockers, some upsets, some 100-point game, I should say. So we'll get into that Big Ten tournament day 1. Let us know if you want us to talk about some of the other conference tournaments, and we'll do that. The next one we're going to get into is some NFL latest trade. The trade that went down the past couple of days. There's some big names: Russell Wilson, Khalil Mack, Carson Wentz, to name a few. So we'll dive into that. Then we're going to continue our preview and prediction of an NFL division, and we're going to be doing Kurt's own AFC North.
Yes, sir.
And then we will briefly recap UFC 272 if we have enough time. So Kurt, let's get into some Big Ten tournament talk, and we're just gonna start where it hurts most. Just rip the Band-Aid right off.
Rip it off
for both of us.
Rip it off.
We're gonna talk about Michigan's 74-69 defeat in Juwan Howard's return after his 5-game suspension was served. Kurt, what are your initial reactions to this? As you didn't watch it, and I watched the first half at work. What is your initial reactions?
It's kind of just an embodiment of how the season has went. One up, one down.
100%.
One up, one down. It's a roller coaster. So, to blow a 16-point lead is honestly
17.
really embarrassing. 17? I thought it was 16. 17. Even worse. No bueno. I mean, at least Howard's back, so that's good. But I like the Big Phil Martellini. Big Phil, that's what we call him.
We were calling him that. That was so funny, man.
That was the interim coach. And, I'm not really surprised we got eliminated in day 1. And honestly, I don't really think we should make the big tournament. I'd rather see us not get in there.
We're gonna make it or make the play-in and lose in the first round, probably. All right. Before we look too far in the future of the downfall of the Michigan basketball program this year, we're gonna talk about this game and my thoughts on the Michigan and Indiana game. So, they came out flat. They came out in the second half flat, but start of the game, they looked pretty good. Dickinson was getting it down. I believe he had maybe 11 in the first half. But I mean, like Kurt said, just an embodiment of the year, as up and down as you could possibly be, as win-loss as you could really get. It really just comes down to that, you know what I mean? So, for Michigan, you play Devontae Jones, and he has a bad game. 18 points, 35 minutes. I'm pretty sure he had a lot of turnovers too. Michigan has 12 as a team, which ties Indiana, as they looked pretty much. We were just a little bit worse, honestly. And that's all it really came down to. But I said that in the sense that Indiana's not very good. We were 8, they were 9.
So pretty even then.
Yeah, pretty even. But for Michigan, man, you got this talent coming in. It's almost like Howard. He has to shoulder some blame. I believe he's been taking too much because he can put them in places to make plays or make shots or make passes or not turn the ball over.
Did you see our 3-point shooting?
I
think it was 6 for 20.
Yeah, 6 for 20, 30%. And Indiana shot the lights out. They shot 8 for 15 for 53%. We shot.
That's
20,
what it is. It seems like every time we lose.
We shot 37% from the field. They shot 46. We weren't that far off. But Dickinson in the second half sucked really bad. I think he had 2 points. He had a chance at the end of the game to grab a rebound. He let it bounce. Then Musa tried to get it and then knock it out of bounds, and then the game's over. And it's just a really bad look. Musa with only 4 points in 33 minutes. That's awful. He had 12 rebounds. He was doing good on the glass, but that's awful. Brennan Johns, 13 minutes he ate up for 4 points.
That's no surprise.
Houston had 9 points on 32 minutes, man. And then Devontae Jones and Hunter Dickinson probably took 40 shots, honestly. They probably took
Well, Dickinson always leads in attempts. That's just how the offense is built, honestly. So that's no surprise.
Yeah.
Eli Brooks, I think, had 18 points. God.
2 of 5 from 3, 17 points.
Okay.
3 turnovers. Devontae Jones, 35 minutes, 5 of 10. So not as bad as I thought he did. 0 for 2 from 3, 3 turnovers. He has 18. Dickinson, 7 for 12. Still not too bad. 1 of 3 from 3. Could have used another one of those to go in, but only having 5 rebounds. He's our center, and 5 rebounds just shows how soft he is on the glass, to be honest. Caleb Houston, 32 points.
32 minutes. If he did, we would have fucking dusted him.
Caleb Houston, 32 minutes. A whopping awful garbage. 3 of 10.
This is how he's been this year, though.
He's been really hot.
He's either hot or he's cold.
Hot and cold, and he's been a lot more cold than he has hot.
He's been a lot more.
He's 3 of 8 from the 3-point line tonight. He had 4 rebounds. He turned the ball over once. And then Musa, 33 minutes, 1 of 6. They both played awful. Musa did get 12 boards. He played awful in scoring, at least.
Just more of the same. More of the same.
Yeah. Yep. Just, Casual Michigan lost this season. Not surprised that we lost. But this does hurt our already really bleak
slim hopes
chances at the NCAA tournament. I thought that we locked it up, honestly, when we beat Ohio State in Columbus.
Really?
But with this loss, yeah,
I personally thought we had to win against Ohio State, and we had to at least we had to advance at least a little bit in the Big Ten tournament to at least show we could be something.
Yeah. I believe we were in after the Ohio State game. Now I think it'll be really close.
After this, I think
it'll be really close. Especially for us to lose, to blow a 17-point lead.
Slim odds.
Blow a 17-point lead, and we're so bad win-loss, yeah.
Probably have better odds at winning the lottery than us getting in. No, not that bad. But.
No, yeah. But, and I'll hit on the bench, guys. Terrence Williams, 9 minutes, 0 of 2. Nothing else. Brandon Johns plays 13 minutes for some reason.
What about Frankie Collins?
1 of 4 for Brandon Johns, 0 of 1 from the 3, and no turnovers. And Frankie Collins plays 7 minutes. And no Kobe Buffkin, who played a lot with Phil coaching. Kobe Buffkin doesn't play at all. Frankie Collins gets 7 minutes, 1 of 1. Gets 1 assist. He can't really do much with that many minutes. So, just a bad rotation this year, in my opinion. I said that the whole year out of Juwan Howard. I just don't personally like how he runs the team. So he's got a work cut out for him. We got some good recruits coming in, but he's gonna have to get good because
rough year too.
Especially after this year.
Rough year too.
It's definitely been a rough year too. And if Michigan does make the tournament, I wouldn't expect them to do any noise as of right now. But that's crazy because we left Columbus and I was like, man, if this team can get hot, they could really probably go a long way. And now, a couple days later, I'm already saying, if we make the tournament, we're probably not going far and all this. It's just sad, but it's Michigan basketball this year, and it's a down year. And I think Howard is the guy to do it, so I think he'll get it turned around. And but yeah, as we'll talk about the winning side here, Indiana was definitely highlighted by their guard Jackson Davis, 10 of 17, 36 minutes, 24 points.
Wow. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, and 8 rebounds, 4 blocks.
Wow. I bet it was Dickinson that was getting blocked too.
Right,
I bet it was Dickinson.
Right. The only other really starter that really contributed was Xavier Johnson. I believe that's what that would be. Xavier. He played 27 minutes, 5 of 10, 3 of 4 from 3 for 17 points. He contributes 8 rebounds, 7 assists. So those were the two guys. And then, they got 9 out of their other forward, 5 out of their other forward, and 5 out of their other guard. And then they got 0 out of their center, 4 and 5. So like I said, Indiana really wasn't nothing special. I believe they'll get absolutely whacked by Illinois. That one
exactly what they're playing next.
Yeah, that's who we would have. That's who we would have played. They play
tough matchup
tomorrow morning. That's a tough matchup out of them for round 2, and I think Illinois will probably smack them. But Indiana gets the win. Nothing you can do. Let's move on. Okay, as we get into our second game, we're gonna quickly rapid fire through a couple of these. We got Penn State versus Ohio State. Kurt, what is your instant reaction as you see the final score with Penn State taking the game 71-68?
I'm liking what I see. But wow, that's pretty embarrassing for Ohio State to lose to them.
Yeah, Ohio State was the 6th seed coming in.
6th seed, yeah.
And Penn State was the 11th. Pickett was playing very well. He had 40 minutes played, 6 of 11 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. But honestly, him in the paint with his 16 points, he was giving, I think it was Brunk, he was giving Brunk the business down low. But, I mean, Sessions off the bench played 29, and he had 18. Harrer plays 31 minutes, 3 of 8 from the field, 6 of 7 from the line. But he puts in 12 points and 9 rebounds. He didn't really shoot that well, but got the job done, I guess. As Penn State, and Dredd, their other guard, played 31 minutes on the bench, 4 of 5 for 12 points. So those are the only ones that really did stuff for Penn State. They finished shooting 46% from the field, 31% from 3, and 75% from the free throw line. Kurt, what do you think of Penn State's game?
Does Ohio State get in then?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
They were up towards the. We were like towards the middle to bottom. Like I would say we were definitely like way more middle.
Yeah.
In fact, they were up higher. As we get back into some Ohio State stats, E.J. Liddell plays 37 minutes, shoots an abysmal 6 of 14 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 11 of 13 foul shots. He gets
wow.
the softest calls, and I'm not even being a biased Michigan fan. Anybody will tell you that watches basketball. He does put in 25 points, but 6 of 14 and playing 37 minutes, you got to have more if you're going to win if you're Ohio State. And then out of their forward, they got no points. I mean, if you're a starter, I feel like you got to at least score something, right?
Something.
He really didn't do much. 1 assist, 1 rebound, 1 block. Brunk, 31 minutes, 5 of 9 from the field, and he put in 7 rebounds. So that's kind of an average game from Ohio State. And Brandon put in 16. I mean, he played pretty well. 6 of 12. Still didn't really shoot that good, but they didn't really get anything out of their stars, and they fall to Penn State. And Michigan goes out. Ohio State goes out. All right, as we're bringing this in to end off covering the Penn State-Ohio State game, Penn State advances, obviously, and they play Purdue. Kurt, who do you have winning this game tomorrow?
Ooh. I'm definitely going to take Purdue. For sure. I do not remember that center's name, but that boy is massive. Massive. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, they got like a...
What was that guy's name?
They got a 7-footer.
That dude was just like 7'10". He was like 7'10". He looked like he was 7'10". But I do like Purdue to win that game and move on for sure. But hey, who knows? I mean, with these tournaments, it's one game, so anything can happen. But I like Purdue.
All three of probably the big favorites coming out of the Big Ten to start the year with Michigan being ranked so high, and they almost all go out on the first day, which would have been absolutely insane. Let's talk about the Spartans and Michigan State, who narrowly escaped. They were number 7 seed. They played number 10 Maryland. They narrowly escaped by a score of 76 to 72.
I'm not surprised with how they've been recently.
Yeah.
They haven't been playing too good ever since Izzo made that scene.
Alright, starting out the coverage, Maryland, Michigan State, 76-72. They didn't shoot the ball well at all. 6 of 15 out of one of their guards. Their other guard plays 38 minutes. He shoots 5 of 17, 2 of 10 from from 3. They shot an abysmal 31% from 3, 9 of 29.
That is terrible.
39% from the field. Wow. Yeah.
So low key,
they I mean, if they shoot even a half,
low key, if Maryland shoots better, they probably win.
As we kind of, I don't really even need to talk about Maryland, honestly. They just kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Let's look at Michigan State. Their big guy, Bingham, only goes for 9 points. He only played 14 minutes. I wonder if he got injured. This guy, I think it was Christie. I think he's supposed to be really good. He got 16 points, 4 of 6. Not bad. They didn't really get any points off their bench, but I mean, they didn't shoot bad. They shot 50% from the field. They shot 47% from 3. That's not bad. They didn't shoot bad at all. But
it's winning numbers.
Maryland shot terrible and still kept themselves in this game. So props to them. And Michigan State moves on as they will play Wisconsin, who is the 2 seed, at 6:30 tomorrow. Carl, what did you want to add on the game, Michigan State, Maryland? Anything you want?
No, I mean, Michigan State did what they should have did. So now they move on. And I'm going to say, just from what I've seen, I'm going to say Wisconsin's going to beat them.
Okay.
That's who I got winning that game. Tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern Time.
So as for me, I'll talk about, basically, this matchup is going to be, I don't know, it could be close, could be a blowout. I want to take Wisconsin, but I think there's going to be another upset
Michigan
tomorrow.
State will hang in there.
I don't know if the upset's going to come from Iowa beating Rutgers or if it's going to be from Michigan State beating Wisconsin. My guts tell me Michigan State. My head's telling me Wisconsin. So I'm going to go, why not? I'll take the Spartans tomorrow. They upset Wisconsin. And we will move on to the next game, which was, what do we got? Iowa Northwestern. 112 points scored by number 5 Iowa as they dismantle number 13 Northwestern. 113 to 76.
Man, I'm not surprised though. Those twins they got.
Iowa is absolutely nasty this year. They got a really good chance to make some serious noise, putting up 112 points. We're gonna touch on Northwestern really fast to get out of the way, but really nobody did anything. Their best scorer was a 14 points off the bench. Young, that played 17 minutes, but their starter, they had a guard play 21 minutes and shoot all of 6. Oh, that is pitiful.
Trash.
Their other guard put in 12 points on 4 of 8. They don't really get no assist. They had 7 in their starting lineup. That's awful. Wow. Roper played 18 minutes. He got 9 points. 23 minutes out of Nance. He gets 11. And Biran had 10. And then Young off the bench with 14. And that was pretty much it.
Looks like Iowa couldn't miss.
But as we look at Iowa, they shot 61% from the field. 65 from 3. 19 of 29. One of the Murrays score 26 points. Off 21 minutes, I wonder if They didn't really play much. 21 minutes, 18 minutes.
They didn't need to.
Yeah, that is true. They're
probably just saving them.
That is. I didn't think about that. Kurt, what do you think when you see this monstrosity of a game?
I'm not surprised after seeing what they did to us.
Yeah.
Those Twins are no joke. And Northwestern really just doesn't have a... I mean, are they good in anything? They're decent, but I feel like they're just kind of overmatched.
Yeah.
They were just overmatched, honestly.
They're like an upgraded Rutgers, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, they can shock some teams, but, I mean, they did just compete for a Big Ten title a couple years ago, but, anyway.
So Iowa moves on to the next round, and they're going to be playing...
Iowa's going to take on Rutgers, and I like Iowa in this game. I'm not going to lie. I like another upset. So give me Iowa.
That's an upset?
It's
Rutgers the favorite?
Yeah, they're ranked 4.
Wow. Yeah, Iowa's winning that game.
I'll take Iowa.
I'll take Iowa.
The Murrays went off again.
The Murrays went off.
Well, I guess one of them only had 6 points, but I guess they really didn't play. He put in 26. McCaffrey put in, 10? He got 10 out of Rebraca, 17 out of Bohannon. They did what they had to. They whooped Northwestern. They're on to the next round to play Rutgers tomorrow, and I got them to win. So does Kurt. And I believe that will finish up our coverage of the second round of the Big Ten tournament.
So all 3 of the games you talked about tomorrow are all tomorrow?
Yep.
Wow.
Starts at 11:30 Eastern Time, and will end around
9?
10.
10 o'clock?
Yep. So, yeah, good day Big Ten basketball. Too bad my team's not in, and of course I'm off and I don't even get to watch my own team. What's new? Michigan, whatever. Okay, we are now going to get into our next topic, which is NFL trades.
Yeah, all the spicy trades that have been going down this week. Lot to discuss.
Kurt started off. Pick a trade and give your thoughts.
Okay, we're going to start with the biggest one, the Russell Wilson trade to Denver. And honestly, I think the Seahawks won in that trade. I know you have to trade a lot for a quarterback, but if you look at how much stuff Denver traded for Russell Wilson, it was insane. They got rid of Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, their quarterback Drew Lock. I think it was 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and I think a future 4th-round pick. And as we talked about last week, ironically enough, with saying how Denver's a solid team and needed a quarterback, this will put them in the playoffs, but, I mean, they're really going all in on the win now mantra, and I still don't think this puts them in the Super Bowl, but definitely... was very surprised to see it go down. But as we mentioned last week, with knowing that Denver was not going to be able to get Rodgers because Rodgers played Green Bay like a puppet, big time trade for sure. And I think Seattle won that trade 100%. Because even with Russell Wilson, I mean, with him, I mean, he basically carried them the past couple of seasons, let's be honest. No offensive line, and last year he came back rushed and just wasn't able to play really that well, so he just had enough. That they just feel like they didn't really put him in a good position to succeed. I mean, outside of Lockett and DK, they didn't really have nothing, so he just had enough.
Yeah. Never really had They had Marshawn Lynch for, a couple of years?
Yeah, for solid couple of years when Wilson was still there.
But as I get into it...
they actually released Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
So they really just said, yeah, we're going to be tanking this year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge move too. But Russell getting moved... Seattle stole... Wagner stole the show with that one. Getting all that in return for Russell Wilson, who was going to decline... Regardless, he's still got a couple good years, and like Kurt said, I think that Denver will compete for a division championship and a playoff berth this year with the additional Russell Wilson. But Seattle, I mean, you're in win now. You know, you let your veterans go. They go try to win rings or do whatever they're gonna do. And Seattle's in full rebuild, and they need it. They need an offense. They need to get that right. Pete Carroll should be fired, I believe, but that's another story for another day. And yeah, I think Seattle blindly won that one.
For sure they did.
Nothing else to say
For
about
sure.
it. Russell's gonna go try to win a Super Bowl in Denver, and Seattle's gonna start their rebuild. That's probably gonna take a couple years.
It'll definitely take us out a couple years. Just biggest question is, are they going to keep Pete Carroll? Honestly, he's definitely on the hot seat.
I think he's got one more year, but now does his job get saved because now they're tanking, right? So do they keep him around again just because they were tanking this year?
Probably.
Right.
I think so.
But I think that if they would have kept the team and he would have lost again, I think he would have got fired.
Definitely. If he, with them getting rid of Wilson, that gives him another year of at least insurance, just to kind of. I mean, this year's just a write-off year. They have no chance in that division. They're not. They're definitely finishing last now. So yeah, that happened. Some other news would be, like we said last week with our predictions, Aaron Rodgers did end up staying in Green Bay, and I said he was getting a contract to be the highest paid player, and he did get that contract, 4 years, $200 million, even more than Mahomes. Technically, by year.
That was never confirmed, was it? That was never. He denied that.
Who?
Rodgers.
Really?
Yeah, that contract was real.
The $200 million 4-year extension?
Yeah, he said that wasn't real.
Okay, well, they gave him what he wanted. He just, that was all cloud about him wanting to go other places. And so with him coming back, they were able to franchise tag Devontae Adams. So that conference is wide open with all the quarterbacks gone. So, I mean, his excuses have already worn out. But this year, if he doesn't take them to the Super Bowl at least,
they have to be the best team in the NFC now.
I mean, they were the first seed last year, but
now it's clear they're front runners. They have to be.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to win that division. That'll be future. We'll talk about that later. But so he resigns there. Some other big things that happened were our favorite quarterback got traded from the Colts to the Washington Commanders. Indianapolis just made all those moves last offseason to get Carson Wentz, and after 1 year, they're done. One and done with Carson Wentz. And, you know,
we try to tell everybody. I don't claim to know much about football, man, but I know, I've been watching for long enough to know when I feel like somebody will be good or
do they pass the eye test?
Yeah. And Carson Wentz just never had it enough for me to be a good NFL pro. He was great in college. He was fun to watch. But as for his pro career, Washington's pretty much still, I would say, rebuilding their defense at least. I mean, they get a stable quarterback, which will help out. But, I mean, that defense is still nowhere near. And Carson Wentz is only getting older and worse, to be honest, than he ever was. So he could honestly be out of the league in a couple years unless he turns it around for Washington. But that trade, I don't know what it was exactly.
They didn't give up They didn't give up any first round picks for him. They gave up I'm pretty sure it was actually, I want to say, a third rounder. Let me confirm that.
I mean.
Let's see.
Because then you're like, okay, is a third round pick worth Carson Wentz? The potential of a good Carson Wentz, you know what I mean? So it's like, would I trade a third for Carson Wentz? I might if I'm Washington. If that's all they had to do. Okay,
so it says the Colts got a third round pick this year, a third round pick next year, that could actually end up being a second-round pick depending on how much Carson Wentz plays, and a second-round pick this year. So for this upcoming draft, they got rid of a third and a second, and potentially a third or second next draft.
Okay. So yeah, I mean,
And
see, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth all that. That's a lot.
And the Washington team in exchange got Wentz and a second round pick.
They got a second back. So really, it was what? It was swap second round picks this year,
Yep.
and then add one second round pick and a possibility of a second or third, right?
Yep, for next season.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot. That's
I feel
quite
like
a bit. That's quite a bit.
yeah.
But if you're talking about who won, I don't know.
Is there really a winner in that one?
Right. Because,
Because now that means the Colts are probably going to draft the quarterback.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, they don't. See, the biggest thing was they went in on Wentz because they thought the rest of their team was pretty decent. And it is. The Colts aren't a bad team. I mean, they got Jonathan Taylor and a good offensive line. Their defense is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Not great, but they got some players. But in that division with Tennessee, now you put yourself in a. I don't know. I kind of feel like Wentz. It would have been better if they kept Wentz one more year, but maybe it's addition by subtraction. I don't know. But Washington should never have traded for him. I don't think that. I think that was a stupid move. I don't like Wentz. I'm wincing just talking about him. No pun intended. But never been a fan of him. I've always thought he was a turnover machine. He never looks poised in the pocket. I don't know. I mean, he had that one fluke year. And I mean, honestly, he was good that year. But, I mean, when the backup comes in and takes your team to the Super Bowl, was it really you or was it just the team? That's just my point with that. So Carson Wentz gets traded. I mean, so now who knows what's going to happen. I mean, free agency starts soon. But another trade did happen today. Khalil Mack got traded to the LA Chargers. And it's crazy how we talked about all these teams last week that happened like this week. Yeah. So the Chargers, I think, made a good move, upgrading their defense. So now you've got someone on the other side of Joey Bosa. I like it for LA. And, they didn't give up a whole lot for Khalil Mack. He was hurt last year, but I still think he's a solid player, and I would take him for sure. Big. I think that's a big move for the Chargers. They needed someone to get after this newly acquired Russell Wilson and the rest of their quarterbacks. So, and the quarterbacks in their division. So, I think I'm going to say the Chargers won that trade. If you had to pick a side.
Yep. I think. So what did they give up? Did it come out yet?
Okay. Let's see. So it says that in this trade, multiple draft picks. Okay. So it says they gave up a second round this year and a sixth round next year. I would take that.
I mean, yeah, I think that.
I would definitely do that. I definitely think the Chargers got that trade.
I'll take the Chargers side on that one too.
Because there's a sixth round pick and a second round pick aren't going to be better than what Khalil Mack is for now. No way, no how. So they are taking the rest of his contract, which was pretty big when the Bears made that.
Yeah.
A contract, but I think I like that for the Chargers for sure because they do need defense. Their defense sucks.
Yeah, they definitely needed help stopping the run, and with Bosa and Khalil Mack on opposite sides of each other, that should definitely help them out. Like I said, I think that the Chargers obviously won. I mean, for the Bears to already trade him is confusing, I guess. I didn't really see that coming at all.
No.
I didn't hear any reports of it or nothing, so who knows what happened there. I would love to see if a report came out about it. But the Chargers won that trade. They bolstered their defense, which, like Chris said, really, really needs it. And
we'll see what he can do if he stays healthy.
Yeah.
That could be good.
Hope he stays healthy, and I hope that defense stays healthy because the Chargers could be really scary good come next year.
And That's about most of the offseason that happened this week. Other than that, there were some extensions, some franchise tags, but, I mean, some notable players, but, I mean, not really a whole lot else more.
Yeah.
So now that would leave us with one last topic, which is the division preview. And kind of talking about who will finish where this season in the AFC North. So I'll start off from worst to first. And, oh man, this is tough. Just speaking for today, if I had to say right now, I'm going to say the Steelers are going to finish in last.
Yeah, honestly, yep.
We haven't finished in last place in our division, or a division, in about 30 years. But just speaking for now, I do not see how we finish better than that, unless the Browns suck real bad, which that's never out of the question. But with Baker coming back healthier next year, I just have them probably a win or two better. But I mean, I don't think Pittsburgh's going to be trash, because our defense will be solid enough to keep us in some games and get some turnovers and kind of mask the offense. I see us probably, with Rudolph starting, because that's what I think is going to happen, I see 9 wins at best. At best 9, but probably 8, maybe even 7 and stuff for our first losing season as well. But definitely not no bottom 10 team, but just because that defense. But I like probably 8 wins. 9 as the absolute peak, unless we make some crazy moves. But just for today, hypothetically speaking, yes, 7 or 8 wins. I'm going to say Cleveland will finish in third. I like them at probably about 9 wins. I think that's about where they'll be. I mean, their teams should be solid, but I'm not really a big fan of Baker, to be honest. You know, he's been given the keys for sure. Last year, they weren't the healthiest team. Kareem Hunt missed a lot of time. Some of their free agents on defense missed some time. But, you know, if you're that dude, you got to win some of those games. They had chances. They lost some close games. And, you know, this upcoming season, if he's healthy, let's see what they do. I mean, they'll still have a good running game. They gotta add some help though with receivers, I think. Jarvis Landry's solid, but I mean, outside of him, they got Donovan Peoples-Jones from Michigan, but he could probably be better with a better quarterback. Just saying. I like them at probably 9 wins. They got a solid defense that keeps some games. It's just gonna be up to Baker to actually win them. See if he can take that next step, because so far in his career, he has his moments, but he's a lot more bad than good. So for second place, I have the Cincinnati Bengals finishing in second. And I think everyone, as usual, will be neck to neck in this division. I don't see anyone just trouncing the rest of the division with some crazy 13 or 12 win season. It's going to be close for sure, because every team is pretty kind of similarly built in a sense, oddly enough. So I think Cincinnati will finish second. You know, just when you notice when teams lose Super Bowls, they usually kind of have a hangover. It's hard to bounce back from. But, I mean, they're not really losing anybody, and they have some cap room, so they might get a couple players, make some acquisitions. But just speaking for today, I like where they're heading. They're gonna have a good offense, good receivers. They got to improve that offensive line though, or Burrows is not gonna make it. So they gotta make some moves there. Maybe they'll get a couple players. So I guess first place only leaves it to the Ravens, which I hate to say, but they were not healthy at all last year. They had 10-plus players in IR, with returning players, with Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters coming back. They might sign Tyrann Mathieu. There's a lot of talks of that. I think that'd be big time. They already have a good secondary. They just always. I mean, their defense sucked last year, but I mean, like I said, when you're down so many starters, I mean, they only won games because of Lamar, because he carried them pretty much. They were really close games. They lost a lot of close games last season. Some that could have been wins, some that could have been losses. So they did finish in last place last year. So I guess I have them going from worst to first. I like where they're heading too. They'll get J.K. Dobbins back. They always have a good running game. So I think they'll finish first. Probably, so I got the Steelers win probably 8 or 9 games. Cleveland win 9. I got Cincinnati winning about 10 games. I'll say Baltimore wins 11. So everyone's going to be neck to neck. And a lot of that will probably depend on in-division play and their records in division. But I got Baltimore finishing first place.
Got it. Well, as I get into mine, my current last place team is also the Pittsburgh Steelers. Carl, you have them at 8 or 9. I'm gonna say 7 or 8. I think that they could suffer their first losing season. I think it's really gonna depend on the play of whoever's at quarterback to depend on how many garbage wins they get. I don't think they'll be any good. I think they're the bottom feeder. That team has Ben finally left, and now it's time to rebuild. What you need to. But this season should be a step back for them, in my opinion. And if I had to put a number at it, I think they'll stay safe, and I think they go 8 and 8.
They can't.
Or 8,
they added the extra game, so they'd be 8 and 9.
8 and 9, yeah. Yep, you know what? I'm gonna say they have the first losing season then, because I'm gonna say
unless they tie 8 and 1.
Yeah, I don't think they get to 9 wins, so I'll say 8 and 9. My third place team was also the Cleveland Browns. I think Baker could take some steps in the right direction, but as he's finally ready to progress, everybody around him got better. The teams got both the other teams in the division got better, so now he's finally up to speed, and now he's behind the 8 ball a little bit. So I think they finish in third place with no more than 10 wins. But like you said, AFC North is always a game or 2 separation. So I guess I'll put the Browns at 9 wins.
9 or 10? I could see that.
Yeah, I'll put the Browns at 9 wins. I like the Ravens to be in second. Like Kurt said, they were super ridiculous injury.
I mean, they had practice squad players starting in their secondary.
Yeah, it was awful. Like I like the way the Ravens will look. I think they get I've seen a couple mocks of them getting Daxton Hill. I think he would fit in perfect in Baltimore, especially with Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
Back there, he would fit in like a perfect fit.
I'm seeing Ojabo might go there.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me with them having that many connections to Michigan. Baltimore I'm talking about. So I'll give Baltimore. So I think the division winner has 11 wins. I'll say that right now. So let's put Baltimore at 10. Which means my division champion for the AFC North as of right now is the Cincinnati Bengals. I do agree on the fact that there can be sometimes hangovers after Super Bowls, but 2 words, man. Joe Shiesty. And I just don't think it happens. I just don't think he allows it. I think he is hungry. I think he smells blood in the water. I think he knows how close he was in only year 2, and the Bengals have a ton of cap space. They can get better on the offensive line and keep improving.
They're going to need to if they want to keep him up and healthy. Otherwise, he'll be the next RG3.
Yeah, honestly.
Not due to his play, just due to
getting sacked.
You got to keep him protected if that's going to be your dude.
100%.
You cannot let him get sacked 80 times in a season.
Yeah. They have to definitely.
That's including regular season and postseason. That's too much. Maybe it's a combination of him holding onto the ball a little bit too long, looking for maybe a deep ball, but you can't get hit that much. You're
not gonna make it. It's as simple as that. You're just not gonna make it. So yeah, I like the Bengals at 11 wins, as long as they stay healthy. But it should be a close race, and I wouldn't surprise me if the Ravens, the Bengals, I think they could both win it. The Browns are iffy right now.
I don't think
there's a chance the Steelers win it. So I would say it's for the Browns, probably not for the Steelers, and then the Ravens and the Bengals.
5% chance. Cleveland has like 20, and then it's like 50-50 with that's a toss up.
I think it'll be close.
It'll be one of those two for sure.
It'll be close the whole lengthy.
It'll be a good matchup.
Yeah.
A lot of that is just going to depend on just keeping Burrow healthy. If he goes down, they're down.
Yeah. Carter, you got anything else you want to add to the AFC North before we close this one out?
Nope. I hope we get Watson tomorrow, though.
Let's talk about...
I don't think it's real, but I saw something about it.
That'd be nuts.
If we did, oh, man, I'd have a heart attack. But it won't happen. What'll happen is we'll trade for him, and then all the allegations will end up being true. And then, yeah.
He'll get kicked out of the league or something?
Yeah, he'll get banned. Suspended.
Man. That'd be something.
So now our only options left, if we traded for, would be Jimmy Garoppolo or signing Jameis Winston or like Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. Yikes, man. Nothing looking too good in Candyland for Pittsburgh this year, but... they were going to have a down year eventually, and, so I think that'll be it. We gave our AFC North predictions. We talked about the Big Ten.
Talked about the offseason.
Got some offseason.
Just from this week.
Yep. Good little episode of the Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, follow us wherever you are watching. Share it with your friends. It would mean a lot. Leave a comment. Let us know some topics you want us to talk about. And for me, we're out of here.
Yep. We're skedaddling.
Peace.